In the heart of Iowa, there are small towns that rarely appear on tourist maps. Yet, it's in these overlooked places that the most fascinating stories are found. Villisca, forever tied to the unsolved axe murders of 1912. Elliott, where a tight-knit community seems untouched by the rush of modern life. And Griswold, standing strong as an agricultural hub. These aren't just dots on a map. They're pieces of history, tradition, and local stories waiting to be discovered. Ready to meet more of them? Let's start with Elk Horn. Tucked in western Iowa, it's affectionately called Little Denmark because Danish culture still runs deep here. The town proudly hosts the Museum of Danish America, with more than 35,000 artifacts celebrating Danish roots and American dreams. Just nearby, Bedstemore's house, a Queen Anne-style home listed on the National Register of Historic Places, stands as a reminder of the Danish migration to America. Despite its rich cultural identity, Elk Horn remains quiet, home to only about 651 residents in 2025. A little different from Elk Horn, the small town of Brayton in eastern Iowa carries the simple charm of a Midwest farming community. Its population is tiny, about 133 people in 2025, down from 143 just a few years ago. Life here revolves around the basics. A local church that still anchors the town, small gatherings that keep neighbors connected. Everything moves slowly, wrapped in a nostalgic feeling, as if time itself has paused in Brayton. Stanton in Montgomery County tells another immigrant story. Founded by Swedish settlers, it still holds on to that identity today, with a steady population of about 675 in 2025. But Stanton's most unique claim isn't just its heritage. It's the pair of iconic water towers. One shaped like a giant coffee pot, the other like a matching cup and saucer. They were dedicated to Virginia Christine, a hometown actress best known as Mrs. Olson in classic Folgers coffee commercials. Then there's Belle Plaine. Once a major rail hub in the Midwest, it was home to a 32-stall roundhouse and hundreds of workers in the 1920s. The Lincoln Highway also ran straight through, bringing travelers and trade. While it's quieter now, the past still speaks through its landmarks. From the old train depot and the classical revival-style Main Street Historic District, to the Herring Hotel and Preston Station, all filled with stories of the road. Today, Belle Plaine has about 2,348 residents in 2025, a town that may have dimmed in size, but still shines with history. Finally, in northeastern Iowa, Brandon may be small, but it made a big splash. In 2004, volunteers built a giant frying pan that earned a Guinness World Record, now the centerpiece of the town's cowboy breakfast tradition. With only about 330 residents in 2025, Brandon proves that even the tiniest towns can carve out a lasting identity through creativity and community spirit. Nicknamed the City of Maples, Rockwell City blends the feel of a traditional Midwest farm town with a twist of unusual history. Once a classic agricultural community, Today, it's also known as the home of the North Central Correctional Facility, a state prison that originally opened as a women's reformatory. By 2025, the population has dipped to around 2,156, but the atmosphere remains distinct. Rows of maple trees line the streets. Life moves at a slower rhythm, and a sense of nostalgia lingers in the air, making Rockwell City feel worlds apart from the chaos of modern life. Marengo may be small, but its history stretches back far. It's been the county seat of Iowa County since 1845, though it wasn't officially incorporated until 1859. Even its name tells a story, drawn from the Battle of Marengo, carrying with it a touch of patriotism and echoes of Napoleon's era. Today, only about 2,381 people call it home in 2025, reflecting the same population decline seen in many rural towns. Yet the community spirit feels alive. The Carnegie Library and the Pioneer Heritage Museum preserve local history through authentic old buildings, keeping pride and tradition strong. Marengo stands as a symbol of a small town that still treasures its roots. Up in northern Iowa, right along the Minnesota border, sits Scarville, a tiny town with only 77 residents. Once, it served as a small but important stop along a regional rail line, its trains keeping local commerce alive. That bustle has long since faded. What remains is a hushed community that feels nearly invisible on the map, embodying the stark reality of how remote Midwest towns struggle to hang on when their populations shrink to just a handful of families. Head west to Sac and Calhoun County, and you'll find Lytton, a town with barely 270 people in 2025. But here's the fun part. It's often described unofficially as having more pigs than people. And honestly, that's not far off. Surrounded by hog farms that outnumber its residents many times over, Lytton is the very picture of agrarian Iowa. Quiet, modest, and community-centered, with farming and livestock as the backbone of daily life. There's Kellerton in Ringgold County, where the population has steadily dwindled, from 315 in 2010 to just 239 in 2025. Even as it grows more remote, Kellerton holds on to something unique, a strong frontier spirit and a cowboy culture that refuses to fade. Rodeos remain a centerpiece of community life, with locals like Weston Pierschbacher competing in events as far as Tarkio, Missouri. Here, the rodeo isn't just entertainment. It's a living emblem of rural pride and the tight bonds of a farming town that hasn't forgotten its roots. Mount Ayr, the county seat of Ringgold County, has been around since 1875, its name borrowed from the town of Ayr in Scotland. By 2025, its population sits steady at around 1,630 people. Once a thriving stop thanks to the rail lines that tied the Midwest together, today its pace is much slower. And here's a fun piece of trivia. Just a few miles away in Corning, television legend Johnny Carson was born, giving this quiet Iowa town a surprising link to pop culture history. Close to the Missouri border lies Bedford, the seat of Taylor County, with about 1,509 residents in 2025. The charm of the town comes alive in its downtown historic district, where late 1800s buildings still stand proud. On the edge of town, the Taylor County Historical Museum and Round Barn showcases log cabins, a round barn, an old train depot, and even a schoolhouse, snapshots of a past era preserved in full. Farming continues to fuel the economy here. Life in Bedford remains steady, simple, and warmly familiar, a living picture of classic Midwest tradition. With only about 1,100 residents in 2025, Villisca in Montgomery County might look like any other small Iowa town, but its name is known far and wide. In 1912, 8 people were brutally murdered with an axe as they slept, a crime that remains unsolved to this day. The Moore family house where it happened is now the Villisca Axe Murder House, a grim tourist attraction where visitors can tour or even stay overnight if they dare. Many claim to hear children's voices, see objects move on their own, or watch motion sensors flash without reason. Quiet and unassuming, Villisca carries a chilling presence that lingers more than a century later. Also in Montgomery County is Elliott, a town of fewer than 325 people in 2025. At its core are a small church, a handful of shops, and little else. Yet Elliott's strength lies in its sense of togetherness. Here, nearly everyone knows each other. The main street stays hushed, the air is calm, and life flows at a slower pace, as though the town is gently paused in time. Elliott proves that the value of a place isn't in its size, but in the warmth and closeness of the people who call it home. Our final stop is Griswold in Cass County, home to just under 1,000 residents by 2025. Farming, especially corn, defines the landscape, though there's no big festival to celebrate it. Griswold is more than just another farm town. It serves as a community hub through its school district, which connects several surrounding rural areas. Family, education, and agricultural traditions come together here, making Griswold the quiet heart of Southwest Iowa.